everyone, I am your astrologer Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here is your daily forecast for the day of Monday, May 28th, 2018. Now before I get started, I just have two announcements. First of all, my June 2018 webinar will be tonight, May 28th. 5 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 4 p.m. Pacific Time, and 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If you do want to join me to see what this month is going to be all about, I do think, I've been saying this month is going to be very different from some of the earlier months of the year. The earlier months in the year, we've been pushing through to make things happen, trying to make big change, and this year it's going to be very hard to push things through on your own agenda, especially if they're not done with love, compassion, and especially if they're not based on some of your true values. All right, so that's what we're going to talk about in this webinar. One of the many things we're going to talk about in this webinar is how to deal with a month when maybe you feel like you're frustrated, like it's hard for you to do the things that you want, like you're being held back, dealing with old issues that should have been dealt with by now. Okay, so that's what we're going to go into. I'm curious about how this month is going to play out for me, because this, of course, is going to be in my solar return. So I'm very interested in that. It's not quite what I thought my next year was going to be like, but I guess it is. I can kind of see it feeling that way right now, so we'll see. Since my birthday is on the new moon in Gemini, I'm excited. I've been waiting to have a birthday on a new moon. I haven't had one, I don't think, in a while. So yeah, so we'll see. I think I'll need like lots of patience this year. I'll need to chill out, calm down my nerves, and just hope and pray and have faith that I've put in all the work that I've needed prior to this point that can propel me forward from here, introduce me to the right people, help me do the right things that I've been hoping for a while. So we'll see. So there's that. The second thing I want to mention, my May 2018 webinar that I did for last month, we're still in the month, but it's about to end, is also on sale. If you would like to take a look at that, where I talk, of course, about Uranus's big move into Taurus, which happens once every 8 years. That did happen this past month. So if you're interested in what that means, especially in looking back to maybe make sense of your month on retrospect, to get a better idea of what happened, of what it all meant, of how you can handle it moving forward, I do encourage you to check both of those things out at the link down below in my description box. All right, now for your horoscope for today, we've got, where are we? The moon in Scorpio. Okay, the very last degrees of Scorpio. So the beginning of the day, we're going to be focusing on our feelings, what's going on inside us, our deep and intense emotions hidden underneath the surface. Maybe as well thinking about any changes that it is that we need to make, or maybe trying to work some things out with a business partner or an intimate sexual relationship that comes in here with Scorpio. Now, late last night into today, we have this moon in Scorpio in a sextile with Pluto, which I do like a lot, really helping us to make some changes in a positive way to put our life in a direction that we like better, or to at least feel more comfortable perhaps about where our life was going, and to work some of the internal stuff out so that we can feel better about it all. Okay, so that's what was going on last night into today. Then at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, now that we're in today, the moon will move further through Scorpio and come into an opposition with Mercury and Taurus. And so what that could definitely bring up are perhaps some conversations that do come up at around 11 a.m. Mountain Time with Mercury involved. These conversations here could be about money with Mercury and Taurus. It could be about your gifts and talents, what you need to bring more confidence, more stability, more security into your life in some way. Okay, I think that's the focus, especially the way things have been going the past few months. We're trying to narrow down our options here, to hone in on a few things, to build more stability and security into our life. I think that could be a little bit hard here because the moon in Scorpio has some deep feelings, maybe wants to make a few more changes coming in, and we're really having to balance here perhaps some deep emotions that we have and some need for change with perhaps a need to bring more stability into our life. Okay, and I think we're trying to work that out and to maybe even work things over in our mind here, how we really can handle some of our feelings better, or make some of the changes in our life that we need to move forward feeling more stable and secure, and maybe having to make some choices, as always with oppositions, around 11 a.m. this morning between what you want and what you need to do to start to move forward in a more stable way, and especially when it comes to communicating as well. Maybe needing to make some choices about what you say to other people and in what ways, to make sure that you are supporting your progress moving forward and not undercutting it. Okay, so I think that can come in at 11 a.m. Then a few hours later at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, the moon leaves Scorpio and enters Sagittarius. And when the moon's in Sagittarius, things change quite a bit. The Scorpio is very deep, very intense, lots of emotions going on. Sagittarius is more lighthearted, more happy-go-lucky, wants to be out and about, explore, lighten up a little bit, have some fun. That can come in, maybe even do some new things you haven't done before. So things start to change a little bit around 4 p.m. at night. The interesting thing though is that right after the moon moves into Sagittarius, a little bit later at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, so 2 hours later, it then comes into a trine here with Chiron, which just moved into Aries. So around the end of the day, 4 p.m., 6 p.m. Mountain Time, we're trying to lighten up a little bit, be more excited about our life, do some new things, maybe have some fun, but perhaps it's a little bit harder and uncomfortable for us with the trine to Chiron. Maybe we're tired of, of doing new things, especially with Saturn that's been in Sagittarius for how many years? 2.5 years, even though it's not there now, but it was for quite some time. We could be tired of doing something new. Man, I gotta make a change to do something new again. I don't want to. Or man, I've got a lot of other things. I have practical needs I need to take care of, especially with Mercury and Taurus. Now that could be hard. And maybe with the moon in Sagittarius, it's hard for us to have fun, or it's uncomfortable for us to do something new, to adventure, to explore, because we've got other more practical needs we're trying to take care of, more stability we're trying to bring into our life, and more security that's preventing us from finding some of the lightheartedness that we want. Okay, so that could come in there at 6 p.m. And that's going to last with us for most of the day, because the next aspect that the moon makes will not be until tomorrow, although it will be very early tomorrow morning at 1 a.m. Mountain Time. And what that will be is that at 1 a.m. Mountain Time, this moon in Sagittarius will then make a sextile over to Mars in Aquarius. And this is actually more positive than the one it just came off of. And when the moon makes a sextile to Mars early tomorrow morning, that can give you a chance to see new options for your future, to envision a new future, to get more excited perhaps about your life, maybe even to socialize and be out and about a little bit as well. That could come in, okay? So I see that it's just a matter of maybe dealing with some uncomfortable things, especially at night with the trine to Chiron. Maybe just having to sit through that. It's okay if you feel like at night it's hard for you to find the passion, the excitement in life that it is that you want. It's okay, just be patient, take care of some more practical matters to bring more of that stability into your life, and then tomorrow, by say 1 a.m., you can start to hopefully feel much better about where things are going and to lighten up a bit. Okay, so I see that, and then after that at 8 a.m. Mountain Time, tomorrow is when we get the full moon happening, coming in, of course, bringing some kind of ending here in Sagittarius when it comes to us doing something new, perhaps, especially again with Saturn being in Sagittarius for the past 2.5 years. We're ending a big part of the Saturn and Sagittarius journey, which for the past few years was all about doing something new, exploring, adventuring, adjusting our belief systems. And this full moon is saying, okay, hopefully you've done all that new stuff. Hopefully you've adjusted your belief systems. Hopefully you've gotten all the adventure in that you need. Because now it's time to take all of that stuff that you came up with while Saturn was in Sagittarius and to get familiar with it in Gemini, to integrate it into your life in Gemini, to get comfortable with it, to communicate about the things that you've learned now with the others in your life. So I think that's what's coming in, and that's what we're kind of gearing up for here today and into tomorrow, getting ready for this full moon, as I think we're really trying to make sure, look, that we are done making changes, that we are done making something new, or that we're stepping into this Saturn and Sagittarius journey that we've been working on for 2.5 years, so that we can finally start to feel like, okay, we're moving forward on it in a much better way, integrating it more into our lives coming in. And I think that's just the huge balancing act. We could still be stuck in old habits, I want to change things. Something's not right, especially with Mars in the South Node, especially with a bunch of Pluto stuff happening the beginning of this year. I want to change things. I want to do this. Something's not right. Maybe there's something new I want to fit in, to make sure everything's right. And I think we're having to balance, okay, fine. Like if you really need to do some of those things, do it. But make sure now that you can then take these new things and these changes that you're doing, if anything should come up in the next day or two, and that they're easy for you to make money from, to be confident with, to integrate into your life and to move forward on, so that again your life isn't in so much disarray. So I think that's what that is. And for most of you who have been watching me for some time, I feel like this has been the story that I've been telling you all since the beginning of the year, that we're just now finally reaching and getting at. All right, and with Mars on the South Node, for sure, it's definitely not about pushing. It's about, okay, you should have done all of the work that you wanted to do, especially at this full moon in Sagittarius, should have already been done, or should be like this close, this far away from completion, so that we can stop doing things and receive the hard work of our labor, let what we've done come to us, and move forward in a more willing to receive and less trying to force things, okay? So that's what I'll say there. Now, other stuff happening in the background. We do have... Okay, other stuff in the background. What we've got, the Sun in a trine with Mars. They're still kind of following each other, so still lots of thinking about the future, about where your life could go, about what you want for your future. I would say being very important. Lots of stuff going on in the mind, lots of thinking and mental activity. With the Sun coming into a sextile with the North Node today, any thinking perhaps that you're doing about your life, about where your life is going, helping you to be happier, or at least to figure out what makes you happier, to understand what it is that you need to put your life in a direction that you enjoy more. Even if we're not doing these things yet with Mars in the South Node, I think we're at least getting a better idea in our mind of what happiness really is, and of what we need to be happy, and of how we can do that in the future. And what steps we need to take to align everything together. Okay, so there's that happening. We also do have, let's see, Venus. I'll talk about Venus, even though this is slow. This isn't going to happen till the end of the week, but we also do have Venus in a trine with Jupiter, and coming into a trine with Neptune as well, and Jupiter and Neptune in a trine with each other. So we also do have a very pretty water trine coming at the very end of this week as well. I think not just helping us to understand things logically and to get some ideas here for our life, but also to pay attention to the emotional stuff, to understand emotionally what it is that we want and need, to understand relationally what we want and need in our relationships. I like to think in a more positive way, so that we can start to move on. All right, so I see that happening there, that I think will be very good, processing things logically, but also the emotional stuff hopefully starting to hit us in a better way, feeling more at peace with some of the things that we've done as we move throughout this week. And then the last thing I'll mention is Mercury 2 coming into Gemini by the end of this week, although it's not there yet, making a sextile to Chiron 2, also helping us to, again, understand who we are, get more insights about ourselves, about our identity, and what we need to do to feel better, or at least how we need to think about our lives, think about ourselves, so that we can move forward in better ways, feeling more at peace with what is going on, even if we're not doing a bunch of things, yeah, outwardly. Okay, so that's what I've got there. Your card for the day is the Emperor upright. This card to me is one of structure. The Emperor, he likes structure and place. He kind of likes tradition a little bit as well. So I think what this card is saying is today, it's a good day to put more routines in, to figure out how you can organize perhaps some of your thoughts, how to take everything that's been going on in your life and contain it and get processes in place that can support what you need, so that you're not just doing things with more stability, but that you're doing it in a way that can last the test of time, that can build a really solid and firm foundation for your life moving forward. Okay, the Emperor, yeah, he's deliberate, and he is tactful, and the decisions he has, he makes with weight, because he knows people depend on him. Maybe this is what's coming in here. there's going to be a time when Mars is going to come off the south node. It may take a few months, but there's going to be a time when we're going to start to feel much better moving forward again, doing things. And I think the Emperor knows that every little thing he does has importance, has weight, even if it doesn't feel like it has importance. Even if we feel like the things that we're doing aren't going anywhere, the Emperor knows that every single thing we do happens for a reason, leads to something else, that leads to something else, that leads to something else. And so the Emperor likes to make sure that he's making the right decisions, that he's doing everything right, that he's careful with what he does. And I think that's the message for today, especially because the Sun in the North Node today are in a yod to Saturn. I didn't mention that as well. Which could say there's lots of communication that could be going on today, lots that we're trying to figure out about what makes us happy, about what we're feeling on the inside, about what's really going on with us, sharing ideas. And I think the yod here to Saturn that's occurring today from the Sun in the North Node is saying, sure, communicate about what makes you happy, get ideas for your future, and pay attention to your emotions, but don't forget to put the structures in your life in place that can contain your thoughts, that can contain your emotions, so that everything is not all over the place, and so that you don't end up creating more problems for yourself than you would otherwise, because you let everything run away with you emotionally, mentally, without putting the boundaries in place to support some of the things that you're thinking and dreaming up and feeling. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So that's what I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching my horoscope. If you like it, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.